In a small Welsh town in 1963, identical twins, June and Jennifer Gibbons, were born to Barbadian parents, but the world wasn't ready for their bond. They became known as the Silent Twins, because they would speak to no one but each other, retreating into a private language built on whispers, scribbles, secrecy, and a pact made at age 8 to never communicate with the outside world. Bullied relentlessly for their race and eccentricity, they turned inward, writing prose and poetry in isolation, speaking only in their own dialect that no one else could understand. By their late teens, they escalated from creative reclusion to crime, petty theft, vandalism, and arson, and in 1981 were arrested and shipped off to the infamous Broadmoor Hospital, a high-security psychiatric prison, at just 18, where they were thought to be dangerous and psychotic. Inside, they alternated between starvation and binging, taking turns to eat, sitting silently in mirrored poses across their separate cells, refusing therapy or normal life, with staff reporting days where June would smile wordlessly and Jennifer's eyes glowed in the dark. Doctors watched a relationship that oscillated between symbiotic devotion and toxic dependency. June called Jennifer her dark shadow, and Jennifer penned lines like, "We have become fatal enemies in each other's eyes." They wrote novels, June's Pepsi Cola addict, Jennifer's The Pugilist, Discomania, The Taxi Driver's Son. But their alleged brilliance was overshadowed by grim reality. Medication blurred their vision. Therapy failed, and every bid for release was met with silence and resistance. For 11 years they remained institutionalized, their bond strengthening their self-imposed muteness. Over time, the belief took root. One of them would have to die for the other to live. When journalist Marjorie Wallace visited in 1993, Jennifer spoke with chilling clarity. "Marjorie, I'm going to have to die because we decided." Just hours after their transport to a lower security facility in Wales, Jennifer slumped onto June's shoulder and never woke. Diagnosed as acute myocarditis, her death was medically untreated, and no poison or substance was found in her system. June later told investigators that they had indeed agreed. Jennifer would die so that June could be free. As the van drove away from Broadmoor, Jennifer lay lifeless in June's arms. Following her sister's death, June began to speak, for the first time in years, and slowly reintegrated into society. She was released a year later and now lives quietly in Wales, free yet haunted, remembered by a poem she wrote for Jennifer engraved at her grave. "We once were two, we two made one, we no more two, through life be one." Investigators, mental health experts, and even Juniper surviving journalists agree. The twins' pact and subsequent death remain one of the most haunting mysteries of identity, isolation, and sacrifice. Was it suicide? A psychological ritual? A supernatural release? None of it fits neatly. The silent twin story persists not for what we know, but for what we can't explain. How two minds became one, and how one had to die so the other could speak.